Yo, what's good, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. So today's story time is one that I can't believe I haven't told yet. I honestly thought that I told this one a long time ago, but as I thought about it, I checked my channel, and I haven't told this one yet. And it's a part of the Crazy Babysitter series. If you don't know what that is, I will link that in the description so you can watch that and get caught up to speed. But basically, back in the day, there was this babysitter. My mom hired her to watch me, and when she came around, a bunch of other crazy things started happening, and it was just a ridiculous situation. I'll link those in the description because there's so many of them. But yeah, today's story time takes place when I was 14 years old. Now, at 14 years old, most people don't need a babysitter, and I wasn't one of those people. I didn't need one. I could definitely fend for myself, but my mom didn't trust me this year because I was getting into a lot of trouble. Every time she would turn her back and go to work, I'd either be doing something stupid with my friends or, whatever it may be. I just wasn't acting like a good 14-year-old should, So my mom didn't trust me. She was going out of town, and this was later on in the year. So she decided to hire the same babysitter she hired earlier on that year to come and stay the weekend at my house with me and keep an eye on me and make sure that I don't sneak out or go to parties or smoke or whatever it may be, right? And I was fine with that because you know what? This babysitter at the time, she was mad cool. The first time she came around, she was super cool to me. She threw a party with her friends, and she just seemed like a cool person to hang out with. So I wasn't really that upset about it. I didn't even treat her like a babysitter. She was just like one of my friends. So when my mom said that she was going to be watching me again, I was like, all right, bet. So this girl's going to come back, probably throw another party. I'll probably be able to go and hang out with people. It'll be no problem, right? So fast forward to my mom leaving, my babysitter comes over, the same one that I had earlier that year, and she's like, hello again. I was like, hey, what's up? How you doing? She's like, pretty good. So hopefully things don't go like last time. Now, last time that she was watching me, she threw a party, and there was a fight, and there was a bunch of other crazy things. I talked about that in a story time. Like I said, it'll be linked in the description. But I was like, yeah, hopefully things don't go like last time, although that was pretty fun. And she was like, yeah, it kind of was. I was like, anyway, what do you want to do tonight? And she's like, well, I'm going to invite some friends over if you're cool with that, and you can either hang out with us or you can go to one of your friends' houses. I don't mind. Either way, just please let me know where you're going tonight so I can keep an eye on you. And I was like, yeah, for sure. And she's like, all right, cool. So fast forward to later that night, she invites a bunch of her friends over. Probably 6 or 7 people come over, and I'm enjoying myself. I'm hanging out with them. We're watching a movie, talking. It was fun because, I wasn't a young kid. I was literally 14, and they were 17, 18. So it wasn't some giant age difference. We both related to each other, and I was enjoying it, right? And then she goes off. My babysitter just disappears into some other room with some guy. And I'm thinking okay, they're going to go fucking make out or something. I don't care, whatever, right? None of my business. So I just keep talking to her friends in my living room, just getting to know them. And then while I'm talking to them, my phone starts ringing. So I'm like, okay, let me go answer this. So I get up, I walk into another room, and it's my friend calling me. I answer the phone, and for some reason I can't hear him. And I'm thinking all right, maybe the reception's just shitty in this part of the house. Let me go to the other room. So I go to another room. Still can't hear him for some reason. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I go into my bathroom, right? I open the door to my bathroom to talk to my friend and see if I can get better reception. And I open the door, and I am greeted to a sight that I did not want to see on this night, okay? I am greeted to this guy and my babysitter. I don't even need to explain it, okay? They're doing stuff in my bathroom that you're not supposed to do in a bathroom of someone else's house, okay? It rhymes with the word pecs. And if I talk too much about it, I'll probably get demonetized. So I'm not going to go into detail. But either way, I walked in, and my poor 14-year-old eyes had to see this, right? And I immediately shut the door, and then they open it back up. Well, they're still, naked. And she's, peeking around the door just so I could see her head. And she's like, hey, Austin, my bad. Do you need to use the bathroom? We could stop. And I was like, no, I'm good. But, carry on, I guess. And I just walk away because I don't know what to fucking say to them. I don't know what you say in that situation. So after that, I realized my friend's still on the phone. So I pick up the phone, and I was like, hello, is someone there? And my friend's like, hey, man, what'd you just walk in on? I heard that. I was like, oh, fuck. He's like, you walk in on someone, doing something? I was like, yeah, you could say that. He's like, damn, was it hot? I was like, you're a fucking weirdo. You know that, dude? This friend of mine was the biggest troll I knew. So anyway, after I say that, he's like, anyway, what are you doing, man? I was like, just hanging out at my house. My babysitter has some friends over. He's like, shit, can I come over? I was like, I don't care, man. And 20 minutes later, my friend pulled up. Now, you probably think that's the end of the story, right? I caught them doing that, embarrassing act, and it was awkward and weird, and that's the end of it, right? No, it doesn't end there at all. So fast forward to the next day, my friend spent the night. The rest of that night was very normal, right? Next day comes along, and me and my friend are hanging out in my room playing some Xbox, and my babysitter walks in, And she's like, hey, I'm going to the store. Do you want anything? I was like, nah, I'm good. And she's like, okay, I'll be back in an hour. I'm like, all right, sounds good. So her and her boyfriend leave and they go to the store, right? And they are gone for way more than an hour. Not 1, not 2, not even 3 hours. Literally 4 hours later, she comes back and she has nothing with her. Like, I thought she was going to the store. She just had nothing. So I asked her about it. I was like, why don't you have anything with you? I thought you went to the store. And she's like, oh, I forgot. I was like, where were you for the last 4 hours? And she's like, I was at a friend's house. I had to stop by and see my friend. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And I didn't really care. You know what I mean? Like, her business, I don't give a fuck. I'm 14 years old. I don't have to, like, have someone watching over me anyway, right? And then later that night, all these people pull up again. Same people I was talking to the night before and more. It was basically like a small party at my house, right? And everyone was hanging out, just talking, listening to music. Me and my friend were hanging out with them as well because we were bored and had nothing else to do. And then once again, my babysitter gets up with her boyfriend and they wander off. Although this time, I knew what they were going to do. At least I thought I knew, right? I'm like, okay, nobody better be using the bathroom for the next hour because we all know what they're going to be doing. Or so I thought, right? So fast forward like an hour and a half later, her boyfriend comes out to the living room without her. So I'm like really confused by this. And he comes over to me and taps me on the shoulder. And he goes, Austin, can I talk to you for a second? And he seemed like really upset about something, like really distraught. And I was like, okay, right here? He's like, no, like follow me. And he leads me into my room and he shuts the door. And he's like, hey man, so she's lost. And I was like, who's lost? And he says my babysitter's name. And I was like, what do you mean she's lost? He goes, so, before I tell you what I'm about to tell you, can you promise me not to tell your mom? And I was like, dude, just fucking tell me. And he's like, okay, all right. You know what mushrooms are, right? Or do you? And I was like, yes, I know what they are. What about them? You guys do some? He's like, yeah, so you know how earlier she said she was going to the store with me? We didn't go to the store. We went to our friend's house and bought some. And I was like, okay, what about it? Like, why are you telling me this? He's like, so like an hour or so ago, me and her went into your mom's room and we like laid down and we ate some. And then like an hour later, they kicked in and she started freaking out about how she felt. And then she just ran away out the front door. And I was like, how long ago was this? And he's like, I don't know, like 20 minutes ago, she ran away. I was like, you didn't come say something like immediately? You're telling me now, like 20 minutes later? Like, who knows where she is? He's like, yeah, man, I thought she was just like going for a run, that she would come back. I was like, dude, who takes shrooms and then just goes for a fucking run? What are you talking about? He's like, I don't know, man. Like, she used to do track. Like, I thought she was going for a run and clear her head. I was like, all right, whatever. Like, where do you think she is? He's like, I don't know, man. I don't know this neighborhood at all. I was like, all right, fuck. Okay, let's get in your car and look for her. He's like, okay. I'm like, wait a minute. You're on shrooms. You can't drive. Never mind. Get someone that can drive. He's like, all right. So he runs out in the living room, finds one of his friends. We get in his car. He was fully sober. He could drive. And we start driving around my neighborhood looking for my missing tripping balls babysitter. And I'm sitting here thinking, here I am. My mom hired a fucking babysitter to look after me. And now I'm looking after her because she got too shroomed out and ran away. So we look around for literally 45 minutes and we don't find shit. And people at the party are nervous. Like, people back at my house are freaking out because their friend is missing and she's tripping. And we're looking everywhere, right? Like, we just can't find her at all. And we're getting to a point where we're thinking, like, we might need to call the police because we can't find her. Like, her phone's going straight to voicemail. We have no leads whatsoever of where she could be. Like, we're just freaking out. So we decided to go back to my house and pretty much just call the cops, right? Like, we didn't know what else to do. We were worried. We didn't want her to get hurt. So we went back to my house real fast. We run inside. I pick up the phone. I'm about to dial 911. And then all of a sudden, as I pick up the phone, I hear her boyfriend go, I found her, man. I found her. And I slam the phone back down. I run out of the room into the room that her boyfriend's in. It was my mom's bedroom. And she's hiding under the bed. And I was like, hey, what are you doing down here? And she's like, I was just having a panic attack, so like this made me feel safe. And I was like, okay, where'd you go recently? Like, you ran off. And she was like, I don't know where I went. I was like, okay, well, you're good now, right? And she's like, yeah, I'm going to be fine. So I had to sit there with her boyfriend for hours on end, making sure she was all good and didn't run away again. And pretty much till 6 in the morning, I had to like babysit her, basically. And the next morning came along and she sobered up and she was like, hey, so I'm really sorry about last night. Like, please don't tell your mom about it. And I was like, I won't, but you have to promise me something. Please never do that again, like ever. We literally thought that you ran away and like got kidnapped or something. And she was like, yeah, thanks for worrying about me. Like, you guys are awesome. And I was like, yeah, I kind of had to babysit you last night. And she's like, yeah, you really don't need a babysitter. I don't know why your mom hired me. I was like, me neither, but you know what? It's okay. So yeah, in the end, my babysitter was fine. I don't know where she went when she ran off to this day. Like, she doesn't even remember, I guess. But either way, she was okay. That's all that matters. And she made her way back home while we were out looking for her. And we found her under my mom's bed. So I guess she was all good at the end. She never did that again. So that's good. And moral of the story is just don't do any of the shit I just talked about in this story time, because clearly it wasn't good. But anyway, guys, I thought this was a crazy story time about my old babysitter, and I thought you guys would enjoy hearing about it because I haven't told it yet. So yeah, if you guys did enjoy this story time, please leave a like on the video. I would really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below, and subscribe if you're new. I'll see y'all later. Peace.
Even the night you be wanting to fight. When I pull up, you see it's like, oh shit. Cut all these ties cause they plan my demise. They all snakes and I think it's been show. And I got some issues, they haunting me daily. I'm losing my